Hi, everybody. This is Adam Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology, and these are your horoscopes for the month of August 2019. This is the Sun and Rising Sign horoscope for Cancer. Now, the month is toned by the new moon that actually happened on July 31st. So we're going to take a look at that to begin with, because even though it was on technically July 31st, it really is toning the entire month. So important. The new moon is happening in your second house, which is a place that represents income and expenditures, resources that you have at your disposal, and the things that that go out from you, your resources and what you do with them, as well as those that come in. So that also, for example, may be related to things as mundane as food. So there is an emphasis in the second house this month, and that would suggest money, business, finances, bills, food. These things are of greater importance, and something new is developing here. Maybe there is some feeling of greater liberation that's happening as well, since all of these planets are moving through a square to Uranus in the 11th house. Now, the 11th house is a place of allies, benefactors, friends, groups. It's a house that's connected to wishes and dreams. So is it possible that this month some kind of new financial developments or arrangements are happening in your life? Meeting new people, joining new groups, finding new forms of support that are really beneficial to you, that are going to help teach you how to manage your time, energy, resources better. I think it's probably a pretty strong likelihood that something like that is turning up. Now, that happens as the month proceeds. Now, Venus squared to Uranus can also mean that there is something sort of provocative happening, that you're breaking from the status quo, or that you are, turning basically the need for greater freedom and independence, and sort of turning your nose up at the status quo or at tradition, and just being like, I'm going to do my own thing. So a little bit of that might be healthy. Too much of that could be destructive. Be a little bit mindful about the Venus square to Uranus throughout the month. Now, between August 6th and the 8th, there's some really nice trines happening from Venus and the Sun in Leo, and Jupiter in the 6th house in Sagittarius. So Venus and the Sun in Leo making trines to Jupiter. This, again, has the look and feel of something beneficial for finances, business, work, money, things like that. Maybe getting into shape a little bit more, like visiting the gym, something like that's more physical in nature. But the trine to Jupiter is also maybe about finding, the right people to hire or employ for some kind of work that needs to be done. The other thing about Jupiter in the 6th is that it's very productive, even though sometimes the 6th has this relationship to work that is grueling or really intense. The Venus and Sun trines to Jupiter should create positive momentum, support, allies, and just kind of hard work and good results around this time. So I like that. I like this month overall for Cancer risings in terms of finances and financial development. Now, when we go forward to around the 11th to about the 15th, the time of the full moon, the other thing that we see happening is Venus is going to start moving into Cazimi with the Sun. That's a very empowered time for Venus. So Venus-Sun dynamics is in your second house, where the Sun in Leo is naturally the ruler of your house of finances, would mean, again, because Venus rules the house of friends, allies, colleagues, etc., also is related to home, family, roots. You may see a nice confluence of things related to home, family, roots, property, friends, allies, colleagues, groups, and business or money, all sort of coming together. Any of those topics could also just be just kind of, for a shorter window of time, just be easier to deal with if they're normally difficult. Anything from parents or family members being a little bit easier to deal with, or just getting that check in the mail you weren't expecting, or even meeting someone that's really going to help you, move your life in a direction that is really exciting. So Venus, Sun, Cazimi in the second house, between like the 11th and the 15th, thereabouts, it gets started. So then on the 15th, we see a full moon in Aquarius in your 8th house. Now, that's the house that often pertains to other people's money, like a spouse's money, or if you're married, your spouse, or if you're dating, just a partner. So the tension at that time between your money and someone else's money, or between investment and debt, or between just financial considerations in relationships in general could be a little bit more tense or pronounced around that time, the middle of the month. The other thing that you want to think about here is, Venus and the sun often in the second house will I want to make an investment. I want to buy something. Something's glittery and sparkly. And the moon in Aquarius might be a little bit more critical. Well, have you really examined the cost? You really want to go into that much debt? So just thinking about that level of, kind of an eye of caution. You get Moon and Saturn sign with Saturn at the same time in the 7th house. Don't be surprised if you get a little bit of kickback from someone else. You're really eager. You're really excited about something. Someone else is like, let's just slow the roll here. Working through any tension that comes up may not be, it may feel like someone's sort of blocking you when you're feeling really good about something, but you may in fact want to pay closer attention to, the details and look more carefully at the bottom line. Look at what something's going to cost you in the long run. Be careful of what your be careful of basically the tendency to overcommit to something or overextend yourself. And the full moon may help you pull back just a little bit. That could also be helpful. All right, so those are some things around the full moon. Now, later in the month, right around the 18th of the month, you're going to see this big pileup of planets start to enter Virgo in your 3rd house. So that happens starting on the 18th when Mars enters Virgo, and then you're going to see it develop. Here we go, right around the 21st, 22nd, Venus pops into Virgo. Then we have the sun going into Virgo. And then after that, we will have Mercury on the 29th going into Virgo, and then a new moon on the 30th in Virgo. It's like a huge, Virgo party basically. And it's happening in your 3rd house. Now, the 3rd house has a lot to do with the mind and with learning and with the immediate environment that you're in and the kind of patterns and flow of your immediate environment. So there may be some really interesting changes happening there. All that Virgo energy, it's a good time to get organized, to restructure, to purge, to clean, to, Virgo is a craftsman too. So learning a new skill or honing a skill, something like that, setting up a workstation of some kind. But I get the feeling of something new developing there that's meticulous, that's organized, that's trying to help you craft and sort of perfect something that you are planning to do day in and day out on the regular. Something that can make your everyday life a little bit easier overall. You want to be careful of the tendency to be a little bit overcritical, fussy, picky, perfectionist with others, with relationships. The theme of siblings or neighbors or your kind of local sphere could be emphasized. Maybe a little bit of conflict there with Venus in her fall. But again, the Venus-Mars conjunction should be really nice as something harmonizing, as tackling or solving a problem towards the end of the month that takes carefulness. And Mercury being exalted in its own sign at the end of the month too bodes well. So this should be good. It wouldn't surprise me if there was a real sort of spiritual element involved in the restructuring or the kind of nitty-gritty details or problem solving or even research that you're doing towards the end of the month. Could be something really educational because of the opposition to Neptune in the 9th. And but you're going to be probably working hard to kind of organize something so that you can finish something. The reason I say finishing something is because really Jupiter's also turning direct right about the middle of the month and finally getting out of that 6th house where you've been in a slog for about a year with Jupiter in your 6th. Good things have come from this slog that are here to benefit you, but it's been wisdom through hard knocks with Jupiter in the 6th. That'll clear up when Jupiter gets into the 7th. But there's a lot there. So a lot left to go between now and say November. So there's some work to keep doing. And I think this wave of Virgo energy at the end of August, toning the new moon all the way through September should help you kind of make the last push you need before Jupiter leaves your 6th house. At which point a period of work that's going to benefit you will finally come to an end. We'll talk more about that as the months go on. So I'd love to hear your stories this month, hear how you guys are doing, all my Cancer friends out there. And we'll be back together again for September's horoscope. Okay, take care. Bye.